Hello to our tremendous leadership fans. This is one of my favorite times. It's when we get to talk about our latest release from one of our tremendous authors. And today I am so excited because I get to publish the book of one of my heroes. And there's a saying out there that says, don't meet your heroes. Well, I met my hero, and he is even more tremendous in person and on paper than he was in my imagination. So I would like to introduce to you David B. Ibarra. David, welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Tracey. I'm delighted to be here.
Thank you. Well, I want to tell folks how we connected because everybody's like, how do you get to run into all these great people? Well, I met David. I got a copy of his book, his previous book called Stop Drifting, Become the Switch Master of Your Own Thought and Pivot to Positive. Okay, so I got a copy of this. I loved it. I loved it so much. I had David come on to our Sparkler deep dive course, and he actually gave our sparklers just a wonderful presentation. And then David produced a documentary that came out about a year ago, The Power of Thought. You can purchase that on Amazon. And I was blessed enough to be one of his guests on it, where we really talk about everything starts with the power of thought. And he is a wonderful expert in this, but he has another book coming out, and that's what we're here to talk about today. And it is called Live Ready, Beyond Think and Grow Rich. And I think you will recognize Beyond Think and Grow Rich. Many of our tremendous fans have read numerous times and have in their library Dr. Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. It's one of my father's favorites. It's one of my top 20 books. And David is an author. He's a speaker. Absolutely. I think, now, what is your title, David? Did you get knighted? Is that what I
Well,
heard?
I did get knighted Sir David Ibarra, but you
Sir
don't have to
David.
call me
Okay, so we have
Sir.
that going for us. He's an entrepreneur, and he's a community leader with a tremendous heart for service. And when he reached out to me about putting this book out, I was so honored, so humbled, and just absolutely excited about it. So, Sir David, can we talk a little bit about Live Ready and what the purpose of the book is?
Absolutely. I have been honored to be a disciple of Dr. Hill's work, Think and Grow Rich, since I was 18 years old. I received the book from my first business mentor, Robert E. Farrell, and I was promised that if I would read the book, become a disciple of the principles, that he would be my mentor and coach. And heck, I was just the dishwasher. 10 years later, I owned the restaurant, one of the youngest franchisees of Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor restaurant. And that book changed my life. I was headed for nowhere. And one of the obligations or payments that I was obligated to Mr. Farrell, he told me when I made it, and he would tell me when that was, that he would tell me what my payment was. Well, when I bought the first restaurant, and he came to me and said, it's payment time. And I thought to myself, oh, heavens, I don't have any more money. I just spent it all. And he says, it's not money. You got to get a return on your investment on money, talent, and time. I'm going to ask you to participate in time tithing once a week. And anyone that beckons your door wanting to know why you're so prosperous, why you're so happy, you're gonna mentor them the same way I did. And I've been doing it for well over 40 years, and well over thousands of individuals and companies on Wednesday nights. And so I wanted to look at how is it that I could get this message out to more people in a simple to understand way. And that's why I wrote Beyond Think and Grow Rich, Live Ready, Beyond Think and Grow Rich. It's written in a way that it's easy to understand, so you can internalize it, become a disciple of the principles, and be in charge of your own life.
That it is. And truly, I have read it. I got to endorse it. And it truly is just like what Dr. Hill provided. David had his own blueprint for success in this. And it's just a tremendous read. David, can you unpack a little bit of it? Tell us about some of the topics that you cover in, so to kind of whet our listeners' appetites.
Well, Think and Grow Rich and the principles of success are really quite easy. We make them difficult. There's 5 core principles that one must have to achieve whatever they want in their life. That is control of their thought. You're either in a negative or positive state of mind. You're never in neutral. You're in one of the two.
Mhm.
Second is you have to have defined your purpose because without it, you have no desire to start. Third is you have to understand the talent you have and the talent and skills you don't have, and create a specialized talent team to enter that genius zone that collective minds can enter when they're working together on a purpose in harmony. Fourth is action, faith-based action, having the faith in these actions that it's going to take you to your end, even though you haven't seen it yet. And nothing happens until that action is put into motion. And then fifth is creating a readiness mindset to start your day so everything you do matters. Those 5 things are the core to Beyond Think and Grow Rich. And they're pretty easy. I just gave you half the lesson in about a minute.
I love it. And you talk about a lot the subconscious, and Dr. Hill talks about that too, because it everything, well, I don't feel that way, or what I've done in the past. No, 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 no. Everything originates up here. So do you unpack as much of the thought and the subconscious as you do in your previous books?
Absolutely. We spend even more time explaining how the brain processes
Mhm.
and how 80% of the processing ability is based in the subconscious mind, where it is seeded from things from the conscious mind. And the subconscious does not know the difference between right or wrong. It only does what you seed in it. So be careful of what you think because you will get it. And then the 5% of your brain processing, which attaches it to the emotions of what you're thinking. If you're thinking fear negative, it will get more and bring in more, like attracts like, the law of attraction. And the same goes for positive. When you understand how the brain model works, it's the engine of your soul. You are the driver of it. And so you ought to understand it.
Mhm, mhm. And if people get this book, should they have read your previous books, or should they have read Think and Grow Rich? Or does Live Ready, does that kind of stand on its own and it can introduce people to it?
Well, certainly I would read Stop Drifting. It is a story that is a very easy to read. It's kind of a fictional story, but it's the starter that kind of says, you know what? Tom Stanley, uh, I can do what he did.
Mhm.
And you can look at it, but in Live Ready, Beyond Think and Grow Rich, it is the essence of Dr. Hill's work in a modern version, easy to understand, and a fun read with a true example of somebody using it to get what they want.
Absolutely, and I love that. And again, like David said, Stop Drifting is kind of a like an Og Mandino-esque business parable, which we love those. But then Live Ready is the real world application of how people took it and then actually put it into effect and use their personal agency to accomplish it. So, you have the people that like the story, but then you have the real world, the information and the inspiration stories to it. David, out of people sitting out there listening, is there, and I know what the answer is, but there may be somebody thinking, well, I'm not successful enough, or I'm retired, or what do you think? Who is this message for?
Well, it's interesting. I'll go off track just a little bit. I believe in these principles so solidly that I also created to be released at the same time a cartoon series that the parent can teach the child how the power of thought in story time with Senior Lionel. And it has a song and a story, and then it has about purpose. And so from the beginning of our first thought, we should, as a guardian, as a parent, as loving the lives we bring to this earth, want to have them have a better life than our own, to the oldest member of our society. People ask me all the time, David, when you're consulting, you absolutely, your eyes and your voice says, you know this. And I tell them, look, the subject that I talk about, this is going to sound arrogant, but let me finish the sentence. I'm the best at it. Absolutely. And you know why? Because before it was a lot of mistakes made. And when you make a mistake and you use the principle of adversity adjustment, you look and say, okay, where is the equal or greater benefit of this experience? And that's where you gain wisdom and skills. Now, I bring that up because I didn't get smart until I got in my late 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you bench yourself then? A life matters and ought to be engaged in the betterment of mankind until the day we leave this earth. So it's for everyone, for sure.
I love that you brought up reading as a younger. I think I read Think and Grow Rich as a teen. I know you got handed this. Were you still in your teens when you got
I
handed
was
it to
18
read?
years old, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, but I love it, but it doesn't matter what stage you're in. These are the timeless principles. I love how you're unpacking them for all ages because truth is timeless and you just contextualize it differently. And David, we will have this coming out in hardcover, softcover, ebook. You also have recorded the audiobook for
Yes,
those that like the AC, the Audible versions, but also you are also simultaneously releasing a Spanish version, correct?
absolutely. My roots, my father came to the United States at about 15 years old as a migrant worker to replace our soldiers that were at war to harvest the fruit, vegetables in Utah. He came legally, I might add, and he contributed to this country. And if he hadn't, I would not have been born here.
Right.
And I would have been from that small village in Oaxaca, a farmer. And farming is wonderful, but that was not my destiny. My
Mm.
father changed my destiny and the destiny of my brother, Mickey, who went on to be the senior advisor to the President of the United States. Two sons born in the United States, lives changed. That's no accident.
Right.
I'm intended to release this book in honor of my father in Spanish. So every book I do will be in English and Spanish.
I love it. Well, folks, we will have all of David's information, his website where you can watch Senior Lionel, where he talked about and get all these things. But please do make sure you're signed up for our newsletter. If you're watching this, you're subscribed to our channel, and make sure you stay tuned because if you're listening to this, the book is out. And you can get it on Amazon. You can get it at Tremendous Leadership. If you go into your bookstores and you request it, they'll get copies to you as well. So, David, I just am so excited at your wisdom, at your energy, at your drive to just continue to make the world a better place and to help other people really just live to their fullest potential. I'm just truly honored and I'm excited for the world to see Live Ready.
Well, thank you. And I'd like to also comment, every life matters. And when we make sure that everyone feels like they matter,
Yes.
then we'll change our society, our country, the world we live in.
I love it. Well, isn't that what Dr. Hill talks about? Definiteness of purpose.
Absolutely.
If you feel like you have no meaning, why do you even show that's just the most hopeless of all. So
You
that's what
drift,
these yeah,
you
that's what these
become a
books
drifter.
you become a drifter. And these books aren't trying to make you to become like David or Dr. Hill or me or anybody. They're here because it's already in you. And the
It
world really
is.
tries to tell you it's not. And the
It
government and a
is.
lot of bad people try. So I'm so excited to have this come out. And David, just any parting words, any last minute for our audience out there?
I would just like to thank you for having me on the program today. And let's all remember to live ready.
I love it. Thank you, brother. Thank you, David. To our listeners out there, thank you so much for being a part of our tremendous tribe. Remember, as Charlie Tremendous Jones said, you're going to be the same person 5 years from now that you are today, except for two things: the people you meet and the books you read. You just met David. You're about to read a tremendous book. So keep on learning.